Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre.
Manx Radio weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Right, it's just going to take us a second because I'm just going to hand my phone over to the one, the only Dot Tilbury. Here you go, Dot. Have you got it? Dot is going to read the weather in your best British voice, please. Best of Manx.
Issued on Wednesday, the 8th of January 2025 at 11:50am by Ronaldsway Met Office. The small risk of the odd wintry shower, mainly isolated and bright and hazy sunshine. Light northerly winds and a best temperature of 6 degrees centigrade. The risk of a few wintry showers overnight.
Oh, she's adding the drama.
The continued risk of showers in the morning tomorrow, again with possibly wintry on the hills, then clearing away to leave the afternoon largely dry and with sunny spells.
Hooray!
Moderate to fresh northwest winds. Oh, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Moderate. Oh, right.
Moderate to fresh.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that's what it's saying, yes. Moderate to fresh northwest winds becoming a southeasterly later and temperatures again only up to 6 degrees centigrade. Sunrise tomorrow, 8:34am and sunset, 4:15pm today.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you and good afternoon.
We only get the best in for this show, you know. Lenny Kravitz. Great track to have at the start of the hour. Before that, Train. Got to know. Yeah. Brilliant actor as well. If you've just tuned in, you will have heard I was hijacked at the top of the hour.
Hijacked, I wouldn't use that word.
I think I rather hijacked you, Dot Tilbury, didn't I?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I basically threw my phone at her and said, read the news! Did you enjoy that?
Took to it like a duck to water.
You did. Or a penguin to snow, maybe.
Maybe.
Are you enjoying the snow?
Yeah, I like the snow. I've just been looking out at the hills and it's absolutely gorgeous.
So beautiful, isn't it?
But, you know, pain for everybody with the weather and getting into work and...
Bit mucky. Apparently it was taking hours and hours and hours to get in from the east, sort of Laxey sort of way and north into Douglas today. So
yeah.
How was your journey?
My journey was fine. I took it very gingerly.
I do that every day.
No, me too.
Ginger, yeah.
Oh, ginger.
Oh, she nearly got it. She
doesn't get any better.
She taught me everything I know, Dot Tilbury. I'm going to give you the jukebox choices so you can decide which one you would rather hear. This is basically, I give people two songs that they choose from for the end of the show. They're number ones on this day in history. Okay, so
right.
Listen up, Dot Tilbury. I'm going to ask which one you would like to hear. Here we go. So it's a toss-up between Pet Shop Boys. You Were Always on My Mind. This was number one in 87. Or... I mean, it's kind of novelty, fun. Shakademus and Pliers. 94.
The UK's number one.
Do you like either?
No, give us another one. I've seen the Pet Shop Boys live in a football field.
And?
Well, a stadium, not a field.
Were they playing football?
They went down Palisala. The Pet Shop Boys, they had their coats on, which I thought was a bit
Do you know, you've just reminded, they did used to do that. These big, almost like duffel coats, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Pet Shop Boys for
But
you.
I only went to see Gary Barlow.
Oh, I bet he was brilliant.
Haven't you got him on? Can't you?
I can put some on for you.
Yeah, put Gary Barlow
I know you
on.
like a bit of Gary, don't you? We've got some other stuff for you that we'll play for you a little bit later as well. It's also would have been David Bowie's birthday. You a fan? Yeah.
Big fan.
Okay, we've played already Life on Mars because, of course, it features a former resident of this parish, Rick Wakeman. What is your favourite Bowie song apart from that?
Well, I was working in London when Bowie was emerged, and I had a Danzet record player, and when I had my day off, I used to put all my 45s on, and You Bank Me Room.
Oh, I had a Eubank. A Bissell or a Eubank.
God, was so old. And once I got through about 8 records, that was me lot. But I did have David Bowie's, what was it, Moby something or other. Was it Moby Dick? No, it wasn't that.
Oh,
it's the one with his face on.
Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy Stardust,
Maybe.
yeah.
So we can
I
maybe
did
put
like
that on
Bowie.
for you.
Love Bowie.
Fantastic entertainer. Just
Love
incredible
his
stuff.
style.
Exactly. That's it, isn't it? He wasn't just about the music. I mean, he was a performer, which is exactly what Dot Tilbury is. You renamed for today, by the way. Dot Tilbury.
Tilbury.
I'm Gritty D from 1 to 3.
There are other stations available.
Shush now. We'll be talking to Dot shortly about her forthcoming concert in Marown, which is star-studded. Oh, Teenage Fan Club. We do love them. That is, of course, Sparky's dream here on Manx Radio. I just need to do a quick birthday shout-out before we speak again to the one, the only, Dot Tilbury. This birthday shout-out is coming from Sue, saying, please could you add my uncle John Cottier, who is 80 years old on the 2nd of Jan, to your birthday lists, and my Auntie Viv, who is 80 years old on the 7th of Jan. Many happy returns to both of you, 80 years old. Thanks for that, Sue. I hope both are having or have had fantastic birthdays. We're joined by Dot Tilbury, in case you have just tuned in. And we were chatting about your big birthday a couple of years back now. My word, you do a birthday well, Dot.
Well, if you're going to do anything, do it right.
And it's one that people remember, which we don't need to go into here, but let's just say it involved air raid sirens, trains, and some slightly merry partygoers.
It was wonderful.
You know how to put on an event, though, don't you?
Well, you've got
She
to do
does.
it properly.
You have, and she's going to do an event properly at the end of the month, which we'll talk about shortly. But it's all because of your involvement with the young cyclists at the NSE. So we'll talk about that first, because, of course, we've got some very big names that have come through the young kids cycling at the NSE. When did you first get involved with it?
Well, it was 30 years ago or more, and I came back from London. I'd been working in Harrods Toy Department.
Oh, as you do. Did you change your accent when you worked
No,
there?
this woman phoned one day and she said, I want to speak to the girl with a funny accent. And I shouted round the office and they said, that's you. I didn't know I had a funny accent.
It was your angle, Dot.
Anyway, I stayed there for a few years. Loved it. The pay was poor.
Oh.
But great place to work. And then I came back to the Isle of Man and I decided I'd get a sit-up-and-beg bike and look like the Cadbury's Flake girl.
Oh, yes,
and ride
with the
round
basket on the front.
on the front, Laura Ashley frock, you know, I'd be away. So I went down to Mina's in Strand Street. For those who are very old, they'll remember Mina. And she was a bit scary, Mina, but I got on with her. And bought a British Racing Green Rally sit-up-and-beg with a basket on the front. And I was working in Esquires at the time with my husband's Auntie Joan, and I cycled home. Took me about 2 hours to get from Douglas to Glenvine, and it was a big heavy thing. And my husband said, what have you bought that for? I said, oh, I just want to look like the Cadbury's Flake girl. Anyway, then he said, you should have got a droppy bike. And as it happened, I worked with Stuart Slack, who was sort of Mr. Cycling at the time, and he advised me, so I flogged the bike, and to me dad actually.
So he could look like the Cadbury Flake girl.
Yeah, well, no, it's just to get the money. And I think it's stayed in the garage for a while, and bought a droppy bike and got involved in like local cycling. Didn't have a clue about it, and I did a 10-mile time trial, and I did 32 minutes for my first ride, and everybody said, that's marvellous for a first ride, because if you do 30 minutes, it's 20 mile an hour.
Oh, that is
I
quick.
know, it's impressive, isn't it? And I thought, God, I don't even know anything about it. I'll have this licked in about 2 minutes. Anyway, 3 years later, I'm still trying to break 30. It was do you know what used to sort of depress me? You'd start off at 30-second intervals or whatever, and I'd only get my foot on the toe clip, and Andrew Roach would go past about 2 seconds after you'd started, and you think, oh God, I've lost 30 seconds already. So, but anyway, that's how I got involved. And then I'm one of these people, if I go to a committee meeting or just a general meeting and nobody volunteers, I'll go on then, I'll do it. Go on. And I'm awful. I don't even think about it. I just can't be doing with negative things. So anyway, I got on committees and ended up on International Cycling Week committee with Mike O'Hare, who taught me everything I know. And the NSC was being all developed, and they did the outdoor track where people like Steve Jochen and all the big famous Mark Gage used to race, Steve Porter, Andrew Nicholson, they all raced around this track down at the NSC. And it was known as the, what was it? It was not the Bowl, it was another name for it anyway. And then they developed it. And the CA, it was suggested to the Isle of Man CA that they should have children's racing again. And nobody was interested. So Alec Forrest and John Purvis started it. And I went down to help them with my husband and a few others, Mike Nico and Martin Wasley and, a few good hearts. And we started with 14 kids, and we thought we were doing well. And it's difficult because the age range, so you had about 2 people in each class. And I used to bring fancy dress stuff down, so the kids had to put fancy dress on before they raced and everything, just to make it different. Le Mans start lying on the ground and then go running for your bike. Anything
brilliant.
like that, just to sort of ring the changes. And then it just started to grow. And
Got very serious and very professional, didn't it?
I'll say. And then sadly, Alec Forrest died very suddenly, and John had a business, so he left. He didn't have the time. And I said, I'll take it over. There's only 39 kids. Can't be that difficult.
Oh dear.
And then it started, the floodgates opened, and the year Mark Cavendish won the World Championships, we signed 672 kids on.
672. Oh, Dot, that is crazy. I mean, that must have been like herding kittens. I mean, that must have been so difficult to deal with.
I
them
used
all.
to shut my eyes. I
Just hope for the best.
hope for the best. But the funny thing is, I was confident, because you don't want to sort of say you can't come in because it's too busy. But I just used to say, some of these kids will want to come back because they don't like it. It's too busy, too many people. So it sort of gets a level. But that was the power of, success.
Well, that's the thing, but it's not just Cav. Obviously, Tour de France's most successful stage winner ever, as we know. But, you had the Peter Kenyaks of this world. There's various fabulous female cyclists have all come up through as well.
Olympic medal.
Yeah.
Peter Kenyak.
Olympic gold medal.
And, and even now, I could mention everybody, but it's in double figures of the people who actually take up cycling and go on the continent.
International.
And I got a thing today from Max Walker's mother, and he's in a big team now and doing very well, and hopefully he'll make it to as far as he can go. And it's just marvellous. And you think,
is.
from the little old Isle of Man, and the government should be very proud of them all, and they should make them all knights.
Okay, well, I think
And anybody who sports, like a little lad who comes down the cycling, he won the Northwest Running Champs, the under-10s or under-12s, Leighton Curfew, and they just go off and beat everybody.
We do have a lot of talent when it comes to sport, don't we? Do you think it's partly sort of, certainly from the cycling point of view, that the terrain of the island is a good place to start and practice?
It is a good, because you've got hill, you've got everything. It's the perfect training ground, because the TT course, Steve Jochen always said that the TT course was the perfect training ground, because you've got fast descents, hard hills, corners, you're going up at altitude and everything. So we are gifted with some wonderful roads to
and wonderful
train
teachers as well, like yourself. I mean, interesting. As I said, there's a group. I was talking to Uncle Teddy Quayle over Christmas, and he was involved a little bit with the kids.
He was down at the NSC with us at the start.
Was.
Yeah,
and he was saying how he remembers taking Cav and a group of other kids and saying to them, "Right, I want you all to group together and see who can sprint the quickest up to that lamppost over there." And
That's
you think,
right.
Isn't that amazing to think that that's how Cav was winning the Tour de France, was in the sprints at the end, and he learned how to do that on the Isle of Man.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's just marvellous. You can't mention everybody, but every single athlete or singer or whoever they are from the Isle of Man, I just think it's wonderful.
The talent on this
And
tiny place.
Tiny, tiny place. and we should sell that like sticks of rock.
You go first, Dot. I agree with you, though. We're going to find out about an event that Dot is holding in just a couple of weeks' time, which is going to celebrate these fabulous young cyclists and help raise money for the various bits and pieces they do throughout the year as well. So do stay tuned. But I'm going to play a song for you now by your favourite old Blue Eyes. You like Mr. Frank Sinatra?
Love him. My favourite of all time.
Or would you like to introduce the rather American-based song? I'm just giving you a hint here as to which song it is, what you would like to hear.
This is Francis Albert Sinatra singing New York, New York, especially for Mr. Martin Quine.
I have to say, that is one of my favourite guest choices so far. Dot Tilbury, that was a genius suggestion. Do you know, we were chatting off air about all the awesome people you've seen live. You've seen some incredible artists.
Been very lucky.
Who's been the most inspiring to you as someone who's on stage yourself?
I'd like to say Frank Sinatra, but I haven't seen him. But I did meet Dougie Baird one day on the promenade, and he was running. I said, "What's the hurry?" He said, "I'm off to see Frank Sinatra at the Albert Hall."
It would take him a long time to run to the Albert Hall.
Well, he was
from the
running
prom.
for his car to get to the airport. But I did go with my mother-in-law, Kath Tilbury, to see Shirley Bassey live in Liverpool. That was amazing.
Well, do you know what? It's Shirley's birthday today. So,
oh God.
we'll play some Shirley for you shortly.
Yeah, she was just amazing. And it was so reverent because everybody, when they were so polite, the whole audience, there was no sort of, no crisp papers or sweet.
No one throwing their glasses and...
No, it was just, they just paid her reverence. And when she finished, everybody got up in unison to cheer and clap.
Oh,
and then when the bandman got his baton to start the next song, everybody would just sit down. It was just like it'd been rehearsed.
She was probably mesmerising, I would imagine.
She was just amazing.
Fabulous glittery frock?
Oh, of course.
What about Shirley?
And she put her foot through the step when she was with Morecambe and Wise. Do you remember that? When she came down the stairs. Oh, you're too young.
No, I used to watch all...
Yeah.
I was repeating for
she
years
come down
at Christmas.
and Eric held her hand and she put her foot in the step and her foot went
through
it. And I think she was walking around with the step on while she was singing,
Oh, I do remember her walking around with something stuck on her foot. Yeah. Oh, I miss Morecambe and Wise. I reckon that's your sort of sense of humour, isn't it, Morecambe and Wise?
Every time, every time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And we're talking about all these big performers. You have told me that your Marown concert for the cyclists is star-studded. I mean, have you got Shirl the Pearl?
To be honest, I don't know who'll turn up. So I can't really say.
You're selling it well.
Well, do you know what? I started this concert because when we started out with the kids, taking them away, and it was, it was so difficult to get everybody, to make sure everybody had a chance of going away.
I think a lot of people maybe don't know that you do this because you take the young cyclists off island, don't you?
Oh God, yes, that's how they've got, all the kids going back from years, athletes, footballers, whoever, they all go off island now and again, and they do their thing. But it's a lot of money for most families, but for some families it's a real stretch. So I thought we've got to get some money in the coffers here, and at the time we didn't have a sponsor, and then very kindly, this lady who came down said, I'll ask my boss at work, see if they'll do it. And it was Scottish Provident, who are now RL360. And we've been with those people, that wonderful business, for 30 years now. And they've sponsored us right from when we got the first £500. I thought we died and gone to heaven. And I've been doing these old concerts to try and get a few bob, and at Marown School, and we've had some great turns. I tell you what, because I used to be in the pantomime at the Gaiety, and Sam Barks was in the chorus, and I said to her, any of you, the twirly girls, as they were called, and they were great girls, and they always used to come out and dance, and I said, does any one of you sing? And they said, Sam sings. And I said, right, you're doing a couple of solos. So Sam was out, and she was with a backing group, a band, And she was just such a rock chick. You know, I think she was only 14 at the time.
I remember doing a gig at the Centenary Centre about that time with a band,
I went to that. She was selling CDs, I bought a CD. And anyway, then I met James Toseland at a motorcycle dinner. And I said, would you come out to our concert at Marown School and play the piano? And he said, yeah, OK then.
Was this before or after Katie Melua?
Oh, no, I think he might have been just... I
just
don't know.
Prior, maybe. Because you could have asked her along as well, you know.
Katie Melua, that would have been a coup, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
And of course, we've had the purple helmets with Milky Quayle singing Riding in the TT Races, and all the purple helmets were the backing group. Oh, that was a great night.
Well, I mean, you've got a lot to live up to for this year then, haven't you?
Yes, and we will have, because I have a surprise act which I cannot announce because I haven't had a message yet. But I'm pretty certain this surprise act will be on. And if it is on, it's been sold to me by somebody who said to me, one of my friends said, you need to get these people. They are fantastic. Never been heard outside Ramsey before.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, that sold it for me already. Well, listen, first of all, let's tell people when this concert is on.
It's a grand variety concert at Marown School on Saturday, the 25th of January at 7:30. The tickets are £10, but here comes the best bit. It's not just a concert. There's a Manx homemade supper with fresh sarnies, homemade cakes, none of Mr. Kipling rubbish. It's all real McCoy from as far away as Dorby, St Mark's, the Braid, and all the girls are going to help out with the, doing the supper. And you get that included in the £10. We had this humongous raffle where we should have a steam packet voucher. I'm down there when I finished here.
Well, let's hope they're listening.
Well, I hope they're listening because they're wonderful, the steam packet. No, they are. They look after us. Those girls.
Give her a voucher.
Those girls in reservations, honest to God, I put them through some trials because, the date changes, the time changes, and they keep me on the straight and narrow because only for them we would be going nowhere.
Well, and this is what this concert's raising money for, is to get these kids off island to go and do these fantastic events.
And then we've got we do have, I'll tell you who we do have.
Okay.
The Christine Wilde dancers, and they have been coming to us at Marown from the very first show. And they're still doing it every year. Christine
104
Wilde.
Years old now and still going strong.
Years, me and Christine. We're on our Zimmer frames, but we're still going strong. And it's always tradition that they open the show. And it's downhill from then on. No, I'm only joking.
All of your events are brilliant. We know they are. I mean, the Braid events, anything that Dot's involved with is brilliant fun. You sort of don't need to know even who's on the list because we know it's going to be a cracking good night. And there's butties and cake.
And there's butties. That's the best bit. But the raffle's a good one too because I don't have bath cubes. When you go to the end of the raffle.
You get a bath bomb.
Say your bath bomb or something. All ours are absolutely handled with care and put together so you get a proper big raffle prize.
And knowing that you're helping the kids, the cyclists, you could be helping the next Cav.
Yeah, you
or
could.
next Kenyuk or next... Yeah, it could be anyone.
Anyone.
Well, it says 25th, January the 25th. How do people get their tickets?
Well, they phone me on 480-696 or my email is .tilbury, DOTTILBURY at manx.net.
Fabulous.
But I tell you what, they're going fast.
Oh, so if you do want to be there, honestly,
and I'm
you
not
don't want to miss
just saying it because I usually do just say it.
I've got to say, my mother has messaged me about 10 times about this, saying, you've got to come. Mother, I'm in Inverness, I can't, but thanks very much.
What are you going to Inverness for?
Oh, top secret. Top secret. Speaking of top secret, this is no longer a secret. We know you like Shirley Bassey. So to finish off, Dot, would you like to introduce Shirley Bassey's big hit for us? Big, there you go. That's another hint as to what the song might be, because I can't remember if I told you which one I put in or not. Big money hit. What are we going to hear? And thank you ever so much, Guramai Mored, Dot Tilbury Chilbury for today. Have an absolutely
Chilbury.
brilliant concert. What song are we going to hear?
Well, we're going to hear Girl the Shirl, and I went to Liverpool with my mother-in-law, saw her perform this actual song. And she is just she's like Sinatra.
Isn't she?
She is just the queen.
They don't make them that way anymore unless you find this woman here, Dot Tilbury. For Dot, here's
Big
Shirley.
spender.